Good morning, and welcome to your AI Daily Press Morning Podcast for June 20th, 2025. I'm Walter, your host for today's edition. We have several key stories to cover this morning, so let's dive right in. Firstly, the conflict between Israel and Iran has escalated significantly, with both sides engaging in a series of attacks and counterattacks. The situation is fluid and volatile, with potential implications for the wider region. In other news, we're following developments in Thailand, where Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra is facing a crisis after a leaked phone call sparked widespread criticism and calls for her resignation. Our correspondent in Bangkok has been following this story closely, and will continue to bring you updates as more information becomes available. We're also keeping an eye on the situation in Ukraine, where officials are concerned that the Iran-Israel conflict may divert global attention away from the ongoing Russian invasion. This is a legitimate concern, and we must ensure that our coverage of these events remains balanced and nuanced. In economics news, Japan's upper house election is looming, with Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba pledging cash handouts to households in an effort to bolster his popularity. And finally, SpaceX's Starship rocket has suffered a significant setback, exploding during a test flight and dealing a blow to Elon Musk's ambitious plans for space exploration. That's all for now. We'll continue to follow these stories and bring you updates throughout the day. Thank you for joining us on this morning's edition of the AI Daily Press Podcast. Until next time, I'm Walter, and we'll see you then. And that's a wrap. Now for the latest in social and cultural news, here is Barbara Waters.
Thank you, Walter. Firstly, we're looking at the economic situation in Russia, where foreign direct investment has declined by a staggering 80% from pre-war levels. Experts warn of deteriorating property rights, which could have long-term implications for the country's economic growth. Secondly, tensions are escalating in the Middle East as the conflict between Israel and Iran intensifies. Israeli forces have been exchanging fire with Iranian-backed militias in Syria, sparking concerns of a wider regional conflict. The international community is watching closely, with diplomatic efforts underway to de-escalate the situation. Lastly, here at home, we have an update on President Trump's deployment of the National Guard to California. A federal appeals court panel has granted the Trump administration a temporary reprieve, allowing the president to maintain control over the troops in Los Angeles for now. The decision is seen as a contentious issue, with debates surrounding state sovereignty and federal authority. We'll be keeping a close eye on these developing stories and bringing you updates as more information becomes available. Join us throughout the day for in-depth analysis and expert insights. And don't forget to share your thoughts with us on social media using the hashtag #AIDailyPress. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you again soon. Now, for the latest in business and finance, here is Louis Riskweiser.
Thank you, Barbara. I'm your host, Louis. Today, we're summarizing the latest developments in the financial markets. We've been tracking several key stories, including the upcoming initial public offering of HDB Financial Services, which is expected to generate significant interest among investors. Additionally, we've seen notable transactions, such as Goldman Sachs' sale of Ethos Limited shares, and the oversubscription of Appleton Engineers' IPO. Globally, tensions in the Middle East have led to a surge in oil prices, causing jitters in the markets. The Indian rupee has touched a 3-month low, stretching weekly losses to nearly 1%. We're advising investors to stay informed and adapt to changing market conditions, maintaining a diversified portfolio and focusing on long-term goals. We're also keeping an eye on top trending stocks, including SBI, Axis Bank, HDFC Bank, Infosys, Wipro, and NTPC. For real-time updates and exclusive insights, be sure to subscribe to our AdMarkets WhatsApp channel. That's all for now. Stay ahead of the curve and keep a close eye on those market trends. We'll continue to provide you with fair, balanced, and unbiased news to help you make informed decisions about your financial future. Thank you for tuning in to the AI Daily Press Morning Podcast. Now for the latest in science and technology, here is Carl Starman.
Thank you, Lewis. First, we take a look at a groundbreaking camera app called Project Indigo, developed by Adobe in collaboration with Mark Levoy. This app is revolutionizing smartphone photography by harnessing the power of computational photography to produce high-quality images with lower noise and higher dynamic range. Next, we delve into the world of cryptocurrency and financial fraud, where the U.S. Department of Justice has seized millions of dollars in assets linked to a massive confidence trick involving Tether stablecoin tokens. This story highlights the importance of responsible innovation and regulation in the crypto space. Lastly, we touch on an intriguing tale of space exploration and human ingenuity, where scientists are using advanced technologies to push the boundaries of what's possible. Unfortunately, our morning podcast time is limited, so we'll have to save this story for another day. Tune in later today for a deeper dive into these stories, including exclusive interviews and analysis from industry experts. And as always, remember to keep looking up at the stars, because in the words of Carl Starman, somewhere, something incredible is waiting to be known. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery, and we'll see you later today on the AI Daily Press. Now for the latest in sports, here is Howard Closewell.
Thank you, Carl. First up, we have the thrilling doubleheader between the Detroit Tigers and the Pittsburgh Pirates at Comerica Park. The Tigers dominated the first game with a 7-0 shootout, while the second game saw a more competitive matchup, but ultimately the Pirates fell short. Our article takes a closer look at the key performances from both teams and what this means for their upcoming series. Next, we're heading to the world of hockey, where the Stanley Cup has made headlines once again, this time for all the wrong reasons. The Florida Panthers' celebration of their second straight championship resulted in damage to the iconic trophy. We delve into the story behind this incident and explore the importance of preserving our sporting traditions. And finally, we're looking at the world of hockey from a different angle with an update on the improbable Canada Stanley Cup drought. Our article examines the numbers and the history behind this remarkable dry spell and what it means for Canadian hockey fans. These are just a few of the stories making headlines in the world of sports today. Now for the latest in travel and human interest, here is Charles Currell.
Thank you, Howard. Firstly, we took a journey to Taipei, where we uncovered a poignant reminder of the importance of community, compassion, and preserving our cultural heritage. We explored a hidden gem in the city, highlighting the value of human connection and empathy. In other news, a shocking trial is underway in Reims, France, exposing a dark underbelly of human trafficking among workers in the country's renowned champagne industry. The alleged exploitation of undocumented migrants has raised questions about the extent of worker mistreatment in the $6 billion industry and sparked calls for greater transparency and accountability. Lastly, in the United States, a federal judge has blocked the Trump administration's plan to tie states' transportation funds to immigration enforcement cooperation. This significant ruling grants an injunction barring the Department of Transportation's policy, citing that the states are likely to succeed on the merits of some or all of their claims. We'll continue to monitor these developments and provide in-depth coverage of the ongoing debate over immigration policy. That's all for now. Thank you for joining us on this morning's podcast. Until next time, good morning, and may your day be filled with wonder and discovery. Now for the latest in fashion and entertainment, here's Joan Streams.
Thank you, Charles. I'm your host, Joan. Today, we're recapping some exciting stories from the world of entertainment. First up, K-pop fans are buzzing about the latest news from BTS. The group has just announced their upcoming tour dates, and tickets are selling out fast. We'll have more on that story later in the show. Next, we're talking about Hugh Jackman and Sutton Foster's romantic involvement. The two met while working on Broadway, and their chemistry on stage has apparently translated to real life. But not everyone is thrilled about their new relationship, including Jackman's ex-wife, Deborah Lee Furness. We'll be discussing the complexities of celebrity relationships and the media's role in reporting on them. And finally, we're celebrating a major milestone for Nicki Minaj. The rapper has just earned her 100th top hit on the rap digital song sales chart with Bane from No featuring Lil Wayne. This is a huge achievement, and we'll be talking about what it means for Minaj's legacy as one of the greatest rappers of all time. We'll also be touching on the latest news from the world of music, including BTS's tour announcement and some exciting new releases. And, of course, we'll have our usual dose of celebrity gossip and updates from Hollywood. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and get ready for a fun-filled morning of entertainment news and discussion. We're just getting started here on the AI Daily Press Morning Podcast. Now, for the latest in nature and environment, here is Data Tenacher.
Thank you, Joan. Firstly, we explored the alarming decline of sea cucumbers due to overfishing and poaching, driven by high demand in East Asia. However, on Mafia Island in Tanzania, a pioneering farmer is using an underwater ranching method to promote sustainable sea cucumber farming, providing a beacon of hope for conservation efforts. Next, we delved into the world of urban ecology, where a remarkable project in New York City's Broadway malls is transforming tiny pockets of green space into vibrant ecosystems. By introducing native plants and creating corridors for wildlife, this initiative is enhancing biodiversity and providing a crucial stopover for migratory birds. Lastly, we examined the devastating impact of the black market on species such as sea cucumbers and the prized delicacy of dried sea cumbers in East Asia. However, innovative approaches like Waziri Mpogo's underwater sea cucumber ranch are promoting coexistence with these incredible creatures and supporting sustainable practices in the fishing industry. These stories remind us that even in the face of environmental challenges, there is always hope for a better future. By prioritizing nature, adopting sustainable practices, and supporting conservation efforts, we can create a more balanced ecosystem and preserve the wonders of our natural world. That's all for today's summary. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and I look forward to sharing more stories with you tomorrow. And that completes our morning podcast for today. Thank you for listening. Until this evening, I'm David Atenacher for AI Daily Press, the world's most unbiased news source.